Hello and welcome to Triumph After Abuse. This time around we're going to discuss emotional abuse, and again it overlaps with other types of abuses. This episode is dedicated to Ryan Reed, and we'll get to his story later on. So I have an article, again it's from Healthline, all one word. They have some pretty good articles. So, emotional abuse involves attempts to frighten, control, or isolate you. This type of abuse doesn't involve physical violence, although it might involve threats of violence directed toward you or your loved ones. It's characterized by a person's words, actions, and the consistency of these behaviors. People of any gender or age can abuse or experience abuse. The abuse doesn't just happen in the context of romantic relationships. The person abusing you could be your child, romantic partner, manager, parent, caretaker, or your adult child. The first topic here is humiliation, negating, and criticizing. Someone abusing you may use different tactics to undermine your self-esteem. Examples include name-calling and or derogatory nicknames. Or they may blatantly call you stupid or a loser or any number of insults. Character assassination. This typically involves the word always or never. Like you're always late, wrong, screwing up, disagreeable, impossible, blah, blah, blah. They might say these things to you or use them to describe your behavior to others. Yelling, screaming, swearing to intimidate you and make you feel small and inconsequential. Maybe they never hit you, but they do pound their fists, throw things, and damage property. I've seen that a lot. Public embarrassment. They pick fights, share your secrets, make fun of your shortcomings in public. I've also seen that a lot. Dismissiveness. You share something important to you and they reply with, "What? Who cares about that?" Dismissiveness can also be like eye rolling, smirking, head shaking, and sighing, like to dismiss what you're saying. Joking. When you express discomfort about something, they say, "Can't you take a joke? Grow up," or tell you that you're too sensitive. Belittling your accomplishments. They brush off your achievements, saying they don't matter, claim responsibility for your success. Second red flag or topic, I guess. Control and shame. Abusive behavior relates to the desire to maintain power and control. Somebody abusing you might attempt to manipulate you into doing what they don't want you, or what they want you to do, often making you feel ashamed of your inadequacy. They could want to monitor your whereabouts. They always want to know where you are, insist you respond immediately. They might show up at your work or school to check if you actually did go there. They can spy on you digitally, demand to give them your passwords, or insist that you go password free, and regularly check your stuff, internet history, emails, texts, and stuff like that. Gaslighting. I hate that term, but it's a term. Someone abusing you may deny that specific events, arguments, or agreements even ever happened. They'll question your well-being, like your mental well-being, because they try to make you feel like you're crazy. They like to make all the decisions. This might involve closing a joint bank account and canceling doctor's appointments, or they may insist you withdraw from school or resign from work, or do so on your behalf. They may tell you what to wear, what to eat, or how much, and which friends you can hang out with. They may give you direct orders. Like, I don't care what happened, you stay here until you get the client back or you're fired, which could be a manager, obviously. They insist that you stop taking the pill, or they just expect you to do everything they say. Unpredictability, they explode for no clear reason. I gave an example of that short time ago. Then suddenly shower you with affection, or maybe their mood shifts from upbeat to angry with little to no warning, leaving you never sure what to expect, so that you're walking on eggshells all the time. Stonewalling you. I just call that the silent treatment. They don't even, they act like you don't exist. The other topic, accusing, blaming, and denial. People who abuse others often try to create a hierarchy that puts them on top and you at the bottom. It's known as a power imbalance. I say it's like a master-servant relationship. Like, they just want you to shut the F up and to do what you're told. And don't question them. Like, they just want to be in complete 100% control. This could include goading and blaming. People who manipulate and abuse typically know just how to upset you, but once you get upset, then they blame you. Like, it's your fault. You're so sensitive, or you're the bad guy. Jealousy, they accuse you of flirting or cheating and spend all time, like you'd spend every waking moment with them if you really love them. Using guilt, they might try to guilt trip you into doing something, like, you owe me this. Look at everything I've done to you or for you. I remember somebody saying that to me, saying, I've done way more for you than you've ever done for me. And I was like, wow, okay. Trivializing. When you explain how much something they said or did upset and hurt your feelings, they accuse you of overreacting and misunderstanding the situation, which I explained before in an example how my sibling always said that I misunderstood her. I've never misunderstood anyone else at that time in my life. Blaming you for their problems. When things go wrong, they blame you. If you'd only been more loving, more supportive, a better parent, life would be fantastic. Sounds like my parents talking about their children. Emotional neglect and isolation. Someone abusing you will generally try to get you to prioritize their needs and neglect your own. Often they'll make an effort to isolate you by coming between you and your supportive loved ones, a step which of course leaves you more dependent upon them. I call that triangulation, or trying to put a wedge between you and your children or your best friend or whatever. I had somebody in my life one time accuse my best friend and I of having an affair. I'm like, no. Like, how ridiculous are you? But we eventually stopped hanging out because he was so ridiculous about it. And yeah, I allowed it. So these tactics might be dehumanizing you. They'll intentionally look away when you're talking or stare at someone else when speaking to you in an effort to make you feel unimportant, keeping you from socializing whenever you have plans to go up. They come up with a distraction or beg you not to go or pick a fight, usually, I think. Invalidating you. They might suggest or say straight out that your needs, boundaries, and desires don't matter. Trying to come between you and your loved ones. They tell friends or family you don't want to see them, make excuses why you can't attend events, and later they might tell you that your loved ones don't care about you or think there's something wrong with you. They basically bash one side against the other or pit one side against the other. They use the silent treatment. We all know what that is. Actively working to turn others against you. I guess that's triangulation. They might tell other people in your life, including coworkers, friends, and your family, that you lie and have lost touch with reality, or have had an emotional breakdown, or there's something wrong with you mentally. Interrupting. They may get in your face when you're in the middle of an activity, or take away your phone or anything else to let you know your attention should be only on them. Disputing your feelings. No matter what feelings or emotions you express, they might insist you shouldn't feel that way. You shouldn't be angry over that. What do you got to feel sad about? So, how to deal with emotional abuse. If you believe that you're experiencing emotional abuse, trust your instincts. Here's a good place to start. Do not try to fix them. You may want to help, but it's difficult for abusive people to change their behavior. You can encourage them to work with a therapist, but they have to make the choice. Avoid self-blame. You don't deserve abuse no matter what you've said or done. The only person responsible is the one engaging in the abuse. Prioritize your needs. Take care of your physical and emotional needs, and that can help you move forward to a place you feel comfortable, setting boundaries, reaching out for support, and leaving the abusive situation. Set personal boundaries. Decide how you'll avoid responding to manipulation or getting pulled into arguments. Express those limits to the person using these their tactics, and stick to them. You might say, for example, well, if you're going to call me names, I'm just leaving. Or if you start teasing in public, I'll just leave. Build a support network. I think I've mentioned that many times. Build a support network around yourself. It might feel frightening to open up about what you've experienced, but reaching out to loved ones and or a supportive therapist can go a long way toward helping you get the support you need to heal and give yourself time to heal. Take space to focus on your needs and recovery. This may involve rediscovering your sense of self, creating a self-care routine, and talking with a therapist that can offer guidance with recovery. Leaving an abusive relationship. Leaving an abusive relationship often proves more challenging if you're married, have children, or have shared assets. If that's your situation, a good next step involves seeking legal assistance. The following resources may help you come up with a plan. DomesticShelters.org. Love is Respect. It's a nonprofit organization offering teens and young adults a chance to chat online. The bottom line. Emotional abuse involves attempts to frighten, control, or isolate you. This type of abuse doesn't involve physical violence, though it may involve threats of violence directed toward you or your loved ones. It's characterized by a person's words, actions, and the consistency of these behavior. So let's get to the Ryan Reed. So Ryan's stepfather came into his life when he was around 5 years old and was pretty decent up until he married his mother. Usually, that seems to be a typical situation. When Ryan was young, he watched his stepfather roar past late at night in his 1977 Chev truck that had a Corvette engine in it. A few minutes later, a couple of cop cars raced past. Not long after, he could hear the Chev roaring up again from the other direction, slammed on the brakes, parked the truck, and sauntered inside their apartment complex as though it was just another night. One day, Ryan and his sister were arguing over the television, and their stepfather came into the living room, and as punishment, he made the two children punch each other in the shoulders until one of them gave up. Neither one of the kids wanted to give in to the other, and the stepfather seemed to take great pleasure in watching them hurt each other. That's kind of creepy and weird. When Ryan's stepfather punished Ryan, it would be severe, using implements such as a wooden spoon from the kitchen on his backside unrelentingly. When Ryan got older, the punishments became being locked, not really locked, being put in the crawl space under the house. There were no thoughts from Ryan of escaping for fear of an even worse punishment. During Ryan's teenage years, His mother and stepfather's relationship ended, and they moved. Ryan and his sister also were forbidden to give anyone their new address because she didn't want the stepfather to track them down. And in about 2 years, Ryan walked into the kitchen one morning, and his stepfather was sitting at the kitchen table in his bathrobe as though the last 2 years hadn't even happened. He had hired a private detective to find them. His father had 2 part-time jobs at that time and would be gone much of the time. One day, shortly after they reconciled, he left for work and just never returned. Ryan's mother found out what happened through a newspaper clipping telling of a local man having been arrested for intimate assaults. He was being charged with 17 offenses, but had admitted to about 70 nationwide. Takes a special kind of somebody to do that, eh? The assaults had started in 1983, and in 1987 he was convicted and sentenced to life in prison. So that's stuff that you don't know that goes on behind closed doors, and how abusive people can be. That's extreme, obviously. I'm giving you extreme examples, but don't think that stuff like that happens. It happens probably way more than we know. Anyway, so this is the end of the episode. Like I said, if you're concerned about one of your loved ones, please reach out to them. Try to stay in contact with them. Let them know you care about them. And the other way around. If you feel that you're, unsafe, or if you feel that you're in an abusive relationship, call up somebody. Talk to them. I didn't do that for a long time. It's kind of embarrassing that you're choosing somebody who's horrible to you. I wrote my dad a letter once and mailed it to him because I couldn't talk on the phone and I couldn't go see him. It was an incredibly controlling relationship I was in. So that wasn't something that was, well, at least it was an option, like writing him a letter, and at least I knew his address. You know what I'm saying? That was a long time ago. And anyway, reach out. Somebody cares about you. Somebody loves you. And thank you very much for watching. Like, share, subscribe. Share with somebody you think that could use the information. Thanks so much, and we'll see you again. Bye.